Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest has just over 30 years in the food service industry. From her father's supermarket business to senior and executive leadership positions in food service manufacturing and brokerage. She has experience in both sectors of the industry's manufacturer-broker relationship. She has held senior and executive leadership roles across sales, marketing, digital, business development, and on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging board. I always say that out instead of saying the DEIB because we all need to make sure we are on board with what's going on here with the acronyms. I tell you, Silhouettes, with firsthand knowledge and on the scenes witnessing that she is a woman on a mission. She is an action taker and does it with full 100% high energy. She is definitely someone you want on your team. Silhouettes, let's welcome Julie Swift to the show. Hello, Julie. How are you?
Hi, Amber. Good morning. I just want to take a second and thank you for the invitation, but even more so, thank you for what you're doing with Silhouettes and featuring women across all types of industries and bringing resources to women to further and advance their careers. You're the bomb.
Oh, right back at you. I tell you what, the Silhouettes audience, you are in for a treat because Julie, you had me at hello. You are amazing. So let's get into this, but thank you for the compliment. Very much, I think, in sync with you. We are collaborating for the betterment. So let's do this. Let's showcase you a little bit today. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Excellent. Okay, so we have you for a little bit today. And as I say, it is a silhouette of success and talking about your journey, but I know we can only capture a snippet. So let's help kick it off a little bit by having you share the early shapings of your silhouette of success with the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Amber. My journey is probably not distinctly different than some of your listeners. Unfortunately, the negative fireballs that got thrown at me early in my career, in the middle of my career, and has been ongoing in my career, have helped make me more determined to really be my authentic self and bring my A game to the table every day. So if I had to say, I kind of hate to say in a way that the negative shaped me, but truly, I can remember my first experience with discrimination and sexism. I was working for a chain retail supermarket company very, very early in my career. And I was excited to get into the management training program and knew that I would be a great leader and just looked forward to leading a team of people. I was told very early on that, well, we really don't have women in management training because they get pregnant. So obviously nowadays, Amber, that's not something that people would be able to say out loud, but unfortunately, it still sits in their either conscious or unconscious bias repertoire and is still impacting whether women advance or not. So that definitely guided me early on. And it also set the path for the thinking that this is not going to be a straight road or a completely vertical ladder. There are going to be rungs missing. There are going to be twists and turns and forks in the road that I'm going to have to learn to maneuver. So that really got me started on this path.
Well, goodness. Yes, it is unfortunate. And I would say that right now, knowing what I do know about you and knowing where you're going, the lobbying for the betterment, while you mentioned, the negative may have shaped the early pathway for you, it was a guiding light of what you knew needed to be done in your long term. You were doing it day by day. Oh my goodness. So I'm ready for you to share more.
Amber,
We've got to
I
get
came out firing. I didn't mess around here.
I no kidding. I love it. So talking through that, audience, so they know too, we're going to dive into what you are embarking on and going back and tying this back to a little bit of what you said, reflecting back on the early stages and early shaping of your silhouette with that prime example, that very raw example. But before we do that, what does a day in the life look like? And I know it's adjusting here for you as you're moving into different things. The alarm clock goes off, business or workday begins. Are you structured? Do you have a routine? Are you more spontaneous? Because we love to share with your experience, all of the different roles that you've had, best practices. So this is where you get that opportunity to share what maybe was suppressed, where you weren't
Yeah.
allowed to share. So some quick best practices. The alarm clock goes off. What's a day look like for you?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I am a quilt made of many pieces of other people's best practices.
Yeah.
So I don't claim to have some magic formula. What I claim to have is something that really works for me. I believe in doing what's right for the business every day. So if I get up and I have 3 clients I know I'm going to engage with that day, my focus is really on not bringing them the idea of something that I know they can't accomplish, or the idea of something that is going to be the long road that's going to earn a really big, healthy consulting fee. It's really about what is really right for the business. If I was sitting in that CEO role, or if I was sitting in that CSO or CMO role, what would I tell myself to do based on the knowledge bank that I possess and the expertise that I have? So that's really, a combination of remaining true to myself, leading my business with integrity, and making sure that I'm a value and a benefit to the beholder and the actual client. So I'm a list maker. And I make a short list of the 2 or 3 things that I believe, in line with that client, really need to happen to advance. And certainly having our eye on the goal and making sure that these things serve the overall greater purpose of what the client is trying to accomplish. So then I'll put either a semicolon or a comma, and I'll say that I find the potholes in that process. I help them recognize what the risks are going to be, what the potential barriers are going to be to getting there. And we just talk about those right out loud. We don't wait until they happen. We get out in front of them. So I'm the same way about my own business. Where are the potholes and how are we really going to get there, knowing we're going to have to mitigate, a little bit of a curved road. And then the third piece really is, and leads into some of the things that you and I have spoken about, is that I don't work with companies who are not advancing in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I simply do not. It's one of the reasons I'm in business for myself. And it doesn't matter to me what stage of the process they are at. They can be in the kindergarten phase for all I care, as long as they've walked into the school. And, I run into some companies who are all like, oh, yeah. We're there. I can ask 2 or 3 questions and find out really, really quickly they're not there. So, okay, from my assessment, you're not there. That's not an insult, but an invitation. So, then we start talking about it and, the lights go on. And when you see and hear the lights go on, it's just the most amazing feeling ever. Whether those lights are about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, whether those lights are about a sales execution process they hadn't considered, whether those lights are about a strategic focus. I always say that marketing people have a pile of dust bunnies in the corner they walk by every day and never look at. So I'm the dust bunny finder. So that kind of sums it up, Amber.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I have half a page of notes. I'm scribbling. Oh my goodness. All right, my lady. So anybody, again, knowing you and learning you here in this time we have together, definitely can hear the integrity and authenticity that you have, without a doubt. I enjoyed listening to you share your best practices in your business and your business model, but really, you're a fiduciary in so many capacities of what you do. Putting that client, and most of what you shared is you are putting their interest above yours, and that's remarkable.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just sitting here, and again, I'm not surprised, but I really loved hearing you share that for yourself about what you're doing. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
at the end of the day, Amber, I think it really does come back to if you can be true to yourself, it's so easy to be true to others. And
yeah.
it all comes out in the wash. If there's somebody that you're working with that you think at the beginning of the relationship, wow, this is going to be, a 6-figure fee. And then you find out it's actually a 4-figure fee. That will come with a bank of referrals. It will come with a bank of, happiness and joy, and hopefully furthering their cause for much less than what they thought it was going to cost them.
Right. Win, 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 win.
Truly.
If you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Oh my goodness. You also mentioned, so it's a great segue when you were talking about finding the potholes in the process and barriers. And so a question I have for you is, when you feel, or if you get stuck and you are trying to get to a goal or a dream, or just something on your your to-do list there, how do you find motivation, or what do you do to break through that seeming barrier between you and your goal?
Oh, I love that question. You really ask the best questions.
Thank you.
So it's not if you get stuck, if
Mhm.
it's when you get stuck, because you're going to get stuck.
Right.
And the first thing I tell myself, sometimes right out loud, the path to success is paved with failure. And I sometimes even repeat that out loud to myself, sitting here in my home office all by myself. Julie, the path to success is paved with failure. So you have to not be afraid to try something different. And sometimes I'll pick up my laptop, I'll walk out to the back patio, I'll change my environment, I'll put things down, I'll go have lunch with a friend or sometimes even by myself. I'll go for a walk, I'll do a little bit of yoga, any combination of these things. But I really try to change my perspective, because sometimes we buy into our own talk. We buy into our own things that have made us successful in different places. And the reality is, if you're not evolving The race for quality never ends. You don't just get to a certain point and stop and go, oh, I'm there. Thank goodness. It's an process. And when I come up against one of these walls, I look at it as a huge opportunity to expand, to grow, to see things differently, to look at things differently, and to really just not allow myself to get stuck in a mode. And for that reason, I don't have a standard PowerPoint that I present to a client when they're considering me for their business, because every single client is different and what I would do for you is different. So why would I have a standard? You might have noticed that about me when you asked for my bio. I think I sent you 3 emails. Well, how about this? How about this? How about this? So, but you did beautifully with it, Amber. Thank you for making some kind of a greatness out of the madness I sent you.
It's hard to put it in a concise format, isn't it? Because when we talk about ourselves, but when you have done so much and have so much, and you're moving forward with all of the experience and the day to day over the years to years, and it's difficult to try to do that, to put it in a couple of words and send it over. This is so. Let's keep talking and let's keep working through that, and maybe we can share some more that wasn't in the bio. So let's look back a little bit, and then we're going to continue to move forward, because this might set up the next question or our next piece of conversation. And it's probably more of a 2-part question. I always say, was there a specific point in time, event, or key situation, you may have shared it, that forced you to take a monumental shift within your business or career? And the result of that, positive or painful, how did it help you grow?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that my career has been riddled with the nicks and cuts of sexism and maybe even to some degree harassment and, just honestly, all the negative things I choose not to focus on, but that have absolutely shaped me. And when I decided to launch my own business, I did so I could do it my way, but I also did so I could stand up an industry-wide collective, which your audience is hearing about before anyone else, but an industry-wide collective called Food Service Women's Alliance, or FWA. The website is not live yet, but it will be in the next couple of weeks. And what this is, Amber, is it's a place, it's twofold. One, it's a place for women in the food service industry and people who are gender marginalized to come to a community, to share their truth, to hear others' truth, for them to know they're not alone in what they're experiencing in our industry. So I love the food service industry. I can say that with a full, open, and whole heart that I love the industry. But the industry was not designed with my success in mind, nor people who look like me or identify by she, her, or they, them. So standing this collective up has been a culmination of my career and my life's works put into one fireball of passion that I look to serve women with. And a quick segue in that would be that my inbox on LinkedIn often has messages in it about what someone is experiencing at their company. And it's typically at the hands of unconscious bias. Most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, it's not intentional. And this audience probably knows, but I'll say it anyway. Intentional or unintentional, the damage is the same. So that's kind of one half of what I'm doing with FWA. The other half of it is that the burden of change or growth should not be on the marginalized population. It should not be on women to fix this industry. So I'm calling companies to the table and offering companies resources to be able to get there and to be able to further and accelerate DEIB in their organization as a key business imperative, not just because it's nice or, nice to do, or it looks good on the company website, but because companies that adhere to this process, I think in the Fortune 500 is a great example of how much more profitable and successful companies are by really walking this path. So that's probably more than what you asked for, but I think it's important to say, because while I have, two legs of my three-legged stool are really focused on the business in the food service industry, that third leg of my stool, the stool won't stand without that third leg. And it's a very strong leg. I've put together an inaugural board of women across the industry who, if you think I got a fire in the hole for passion, we should bring this collective along, because they're on fire to make it happen. So that's sort of the process by which I came to the conclusion to start my own business. And there definitely were events, meetings I wasn't invited to, conversations I should have been a part of, times when my voice was spoken over, times when my ideas were shared, only to be met with a dead silent room. And 5 minutes later, one of my male peers come up with the same idea, and everybody in the room all of a sudden loves it and gives this man credit for that thinking. So all of those things really shaped this path. And honestly, I could not be more grateful for where it's led me.
The blessings in disguise. I always call it the gift to unwrap later. It's about timing. It's about having these things and preparing us for the time. And yes, it's not always rainbows and glitter, and some don't walk the same path. But when you do have more of the, as you call it, the nicks and cuts, or the bumps and bruises is what I say. It's all probably pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely have some things to help assist and prepare others, and maybe proactive, very much is what you've talked about with your business model. Being able to have the foresight and to see the potholes. So it's just also poetic what you're doing and who you are and what you are about to accomplish. So you've shared your pre-reveal about the alliance, but you also, you recently, in talking about the legs on your stool, you launched your own company. You are now untethered to, go rogue and do what you do best. And don't be surprised if you don't see Fireball of Passion somewhere on the show notes, because that is exactly how I see you that way. I love that you said that. Talking through some of what you're doing with the alliance, but do you want to share more with the audience about your new company and what you're doing with that as well?
I'd love to. A lot of what we've discussed about those other two legs of the stool are really what my business is centered around. One is that I spent 4 years in the food service brokerage industry at senior and executive levels. The 25 years prior to that, I spent working for the French's Food Company and McCormick Foods in their food service division as a part of the senior leadership team. So that collective has brought me a unique perspective that I can offer both brokers and manufacturers, because I very much believe in the food service broker model in representing big manufacturers to restaurants and food service operations. And they kind of don't speak the same language, Amber. One of them's over here speaking Italian, the other one's speaking French. And the beauty comes in knowing what the broker's trying to accomplish on behalf of the manufacturer, what the manufacturer's trying to get done through their alliance with the broker. But that middle ground has been a gap for a lot of manufacturers. So I'm there to make that really a solid partnership, all the way from RFI and RFP work all the way through to KPI attainment and long-term goal attainment. So that's kind of one leg of the stool. The second leg is really around this sales and marketing piece. I spent 14 years on the marketing side of the business and 16 years in sales. So the marketing side is often misunderstood by the sales side. So again, there's sort of a gap in language there. But more than anything, it's about how do you bring an integrated process forward to market that represents the best of what your company has to offer in a process that relates to your customer in a way that really considers the customer journey. Not only the decision hierarchy, but what's the customer journey in that process of making the decision. So I often see the lights go on in that space as well. So really, I'm a consultant in that space, or offer professional services if you don't like the word consultant. But I don't care what you call me, as long as you call me.
And with that, da-da-don, Julie, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this episode's sponsor. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Is it time to sell your home? Build that dream home? Right size? Or are you ready to invest in real estate? Couture Real Estate Firm is a local female-owned independent brokerage laser-focused on services exclusively tailored to our clients' real estate goals. With our forward-thinking business model, we have a fully mobile, luxury real estate concept allowing convenience, flexibility, efficiency for our clients in style. Amber Weitzer, broker-owner of Couture Real Estate Firm, has over 20 years in the real estate industry and is a second-generation broker. She provides straightforward business practices, integrity, and intelligence with a commitment to a high-touch, consistent customer service experience. We take great pride in our reputation as a strong, referral-based brokerage. Discretion, tenacity, respect, and proactive business practices have earned Couture Real Estate Firm a loyal, repeat client business with a trusted global partner network. We strive for ultimate client satisfaction with successful results, doing it with class, consciousness, and a little avant-garde. In addition to serving our clients and vendor partners, we are extremely honored to be actively engaged in supporting the communities we serve by promoting small businesses, schools, and nonprofits. Real estate is direct sales business at its core, and we are highly trained sales professionals with the Mike Ferry organization, adding dimension to the industry. Passionate about customer service, dedicated to client satisfaction, and driven to achieve successful results for our clients. Call Couture Real Estate Firm today at 817-233-7239 to discuss your real estate goals.
And we're back. Okay, Julie, selfishly, I do not want to say this, but we are watching the clock and we're going to need to wind it down. I always like to respect my guest schedules, but I have to go back real quick to right before the break, and you were sharing your business model and what you do and all those things. And I was sitting here scribbling notes, and I've got, she's a diplomat, she's an interpreter, she's strategic, empathetic, So I'm just so over the moon happy for you that you are in this next phase and you are just going at it, just on fire. I love that. And I just wanted to make sure I say that to you. I'm so excited for you and what you are about to accomplish for so many others.
Amber, thank you. Thank you. That's very gracious. And you have to know, I am absolutely inspired by what you do as well.
Well, collaboration, my lady.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, Julie, again, it has been awesome visiting with you today. And as we start to wrap up, keeping the promise to share intentional inspiration with our audience, do you have maybe a piece of key go-to advice or words of wisdom, and you've shared so much, but something that you'd like to pass on to the audience?
Yeah, you know what? It really is be 100% authentically you in all you do. It takes so much energy to mask that. It takes so much energy to work around it or to try to be what you think others expect you to be. Show up as you and do it authentically. And if you find yourself in a place where you can't do that, you're not in the right place.
Words to live by, audience. Words to live by. Oh, goodness. Thank you for that. All right, Julie, the stage is completely yours. Where can our audience go to either find and connect with you or support you in your continued success? Feel free to share your socials or contact information, and we will also have the links in our resource section. But the stage is yours.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for that offer. If you're going to put the links in there, I'll just mention my website, which is julie-swift.com, and all of my socials on there. There's a contact form on there that you can reach me by. You can link to my LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter there. But I'd welcome you to take a look at the website and kind of reinforce what you're seeing here today. And you'll be able to click on FWA in the navigation bar and see the page that's under construction for the secret that we talked about.
We love that. We love that. We love to be the first to know on the inside track there. Oh my goodness.
You absolutely are. You're the first.
Yes. And so the audience probably will be able to go sign up, maybe for newsletters, and follow you and keep up with what's going on and participate.
Absolutely.
Great. All right, Julie, it has been, I guess I would say, just a joy. You lift my spirits just talking with you, and then motivate and inspire by hearing what you're doing and your Silhouette of Success journey. So thank you for taking time to share your Silhouette of Success with us. You are a true light and inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that feedback. I'll take it. I accept it. I'll take it in. And I'm just grateful to have been invited. So thank you very much.
All right, my lady. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.